Well, hello, everybody. Good to see you guys. I hope y'all are well. We haven't done a topic in a while, so I figured, you know what? And I've been putting this off and putting this off, and it's driving me crazy because it's just sitting there. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this real quick. So, we're going to cover compassion fatigue tonight. Um, it is kind of like mental health, kind of like a burnout, but we'll find out more about it tonight. I have a special guest in the back with me. He's asked me to go over this many months ago, and he can say to a certain extent his point of view and what he thinks about it, and then we will go over some information. This might be maybe an hour live. It's not going to be massively long, but I do want to cover it and go over it and let people know that they're supported. And, we're human. It does happen, guys. It does happen. So we're going to be going over compassion fatigue, a topic that someone, which is Mr. A or Bradley, whatever, or Bentley, he's got 15 different names, has asked me to go over many months ago. Compassion fatigue, mental health, well-being, support, awareness, burnout, stress, compassion, and fatigue. So I will pull him up. There he is. Good to see you,
Hey,
my friend. Finally, we're finally doing this live.
we're
Finally.
here.
He don't even have his party music in the you know you, he don't even have it on. This is a more serious, not be yourself, but I mean, it's more serious,
Yeah.
because not a whole lot of people know what it is, and I think it's very interesting to know because you're the one that told me about it. I had no idea until you told me. So you probably know about it more than I do, which I'm going to go over some information, but you just let me know when you're able. I mean, I can go over. I didn't really get a chance to talk to you. I can go over the information first and then we can talk about it after, or you can talk about it now, whichever you want to do.
No, we can go over it first. That sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Get everybody into the mix.
Well,
So knows
I'm
what
go with
we're
the
talking
flow.
about.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
that's why
good.
everybody knows what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause some people are like, I've never heard compassion fatigue. I don't even know what I did, which I didn't know what it was until you told me. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. So let me pull up this information.
Hi, Beagle Mom.
And let me say hello to these wonderful people in chat. I was waiting for some people to come in, but I don't see a lot. But hello, Beagle Mom. Good to see you, honey. Yes, I do have Thanksgiving Eve karaoke scheduled tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for maybe like a couple hours. Just enough to lift your spirits because Thanksgiving can be rather stressful. I mean, I'm just saying it's good times, but it's also stressful times. So just something to kind of lift your spirits a little bit before all hell breaks loose. Hello, Miss Julie. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're well. All right, so let's share this and we'll go over it real quick. I don't want to bore you guys, but I think it's very, very useful information. All right. This is compassion fatigue. Can you guys see it okay? Or I can make it a little bit bigger. Try to make it a little bit bigger because I don't have the best vision. Is that a little better?
Yeah,
Can you
it's
see
all
a
right.
little bit?
It's good. Yeah.
Okay. This is from Psychology Today, which I cover quite a bit when we do our topics. I call them topics, but it's just like our support and, supportive and motivation and mental health lives and stuff like that. Compassion fatigue. People whose professions lead to prolonged exposure to other people's trauma can be vulnerable to compassion fatigue, also known as secondary or vicarious. I'm probably saying that wrong. Vicarious trauma. They can experience acute symptoms that put their physical and mental health at risk, making them wary of giving and caring. Feeling another pain. This is kind of like, in a way, this is empathy, which we're just getting ready to go over. But it's kind of like empathy times everything else is going on. So, empathy is a valuable trait for the military, first responders, humanitarian aid workers, healthcare professionals, therapists, advocates for victims of abuse, moderators of offensive online content, and journalists on the front lines of war and disaster. But the more such individuals open themselves up to others' pain, the more likely they will come to share those victims' feelings of heartbreak and devastation. This I can't even talk. This sapped ability to cope with secondary trauma can lead to total exhaustion of one's mental health and physical state. What are the symptoms? Those who regularly experience vicarious trauma often neglect their own self care and inner life as they struggle with images and stories that can't be forgotten. Symptoms of compassion fatigue can include exhaustion, disruptive sleep, anxiety, headaches, stomach upset, irritability, numbness, and decreased sense of purpose, emotional disconnection, self concept, and difficulties with personal relationships.
Vicarious.
I can't pronounce these
I
darn words.
just realized what that word was because I had to think about it. I was like, "Oh, what does it mean?" Because I know what that word is. It's what when you live through something. If you watch
Right,
something you like, you're living vicarious through it. That's what that
right.
word is. Like, what is that? I'm like, oh, I know what that word is.
Hello, Retro. Good to see you, my friend. He says I have regular fatigue. Yep, pretty much. I think a lot of people do, unfortunately.
Mhm.
What causes compassion fatigue? Compassion fatigue can affect the most dedicated workers, people who continue to help by working extra shifts or foregoing days off, neglecting their own self care. This can result from exposure to a single case of trauma or from years of accumulated emotional residue. That's kind of interesting. I've never heard that. Emotional residue.
Mhm.
Is compassion fatigue the same as a burnout? Burnout is not the same as compassion fatigue. Feeling drained from everyday stressors like work and child rearing results in burnout. Compassion fatigue is the strain of feeling for another's pain. However, the symptoms are often similar for a burnout.
Mhm.
Hello, mentors. Good to see you. Oh,
Hey.
yes, honey. Well, I need to start because I suffer, with a lot of mental health myself. And when I first started this channel over 2 years ago, guys, we haven't had our 2 year anniversary yet, which we technically had, but we hadn't had the party yet. Um, I go through a lot. I really do. And I've covered a lot of mental health. I just try to do, I don't want to trigger people because I know YouTube is more for entertaining. But
Mhm.
I do think that it's very important to talk about this stuff because you don't hear people talking about this stuff a lot. And if we can bring awareness to it to help somebody, absolutely. I definitely am
Well, most
going to
people
talk
find
about
it hard to talk about this stuff. Most people refuse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I said. If I understand, I understand people don't talk about it, but if you can bring support and awareness to it, and people might better understand it, be
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I don't know what PTSD really consists of, which everybody knows it's trauma, but what I mean, like more detailed, like, or depression. Okay, I'm feeling sad one day or whatever. They might need help, and it doesn't hurt not one bit to cry for help because nobody's perfect. Everybody has their own issues, and sometimes you need help, and it doesn't hurt not one bit to ask for help. I would rather ask for help, like mental health wise, than not asking for help, and unfortunately something bad happens.
The first
So
step for helping anyone is support.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we're very supported over here. Okay. What is psychic numbing? See, some of this stuff is very interesting to me, but it's good to see you
Mm.
guys. I hope you are well.
Yeah.
There's Rebel and Criminal Man and Mentors.
Rebel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Psychic numbing. To be more effective, studies have shown some workers in helping professions may benefit from what's known as psychic numbing. I've never heard this either. So this is actually
No,
very interesting.
heard
It
that
says
part.
the ability to dial down one's empathetic instincts while on the job, freeing
Mm.
up cognitive resources to find solutions to the problems in front of them rather than becoming paralyzed by of n- the scope of need they see. That made no sense. But anyway,
No. But that other word I think is cognitive. Pretty sure.
uh,
Feeling up to
on
cognitive resources.
yeah, I have a hard time pronouncing these darn words.
It might be accent, who knows? I
Yeah,
don't
I'm a little southern,
know.
daggone
Yeah.
it. I try. Y'all know that's why I pull up the screen because if I can't pronounce it correctly, you guys can see what I'm talking about, and y'all can read it with me. Okay, who coined the term compassion fatigue? The understanding that exposure of trauma of others could put people at risk has long been understood. Historian Samuel Moyne has said compassion fatigue is old as compassion, but the term was coined by historian Carla Johnson in 1992 and further defined and researched by psychologist Charles
Figley.
Figley, who describes it as a state of exhaustion and dysfunction biologically, psychologically, and emotionally as a result of prolonged exposure to compassion stress.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, compassion fatigue in the general public, which I know a lot of people, if they work in the general public, they probably already been through this, and didn't really even know what they were going through. You know what I'm saying? Hello,
Yeah.
Granny Bassmaster. Good to see you, honey.
And Granny, this is why there's a high rate of that, is because
Yep.
of compassion fatigue.
Yep. Compassion fatigue in the general public. A secondary definition of compassion fatigue refers to the experience of any empathetic individual who's acutely conscious of societal needs but feels helpless to solve them. People who actively engage in charity or volunteering may come to feel they cannot commit any more energy, time, or money to the plight of others because they feel overwhelmed or paralyzed by pleas for support and that the world challenges are never ending. Hello, all things serious, Eddie. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Why are people more empathetic towards family and friends? Evolutionary psychologists studying the development of human empathy suggest that we evolved to put our clan and family first and may struggle to extend our empathy to other groups. Some researchers even argue that empathy can fuel antisocial behavior, such as aggression. Why are we more likely to help individuals and not entire groups? Research findings show that people tend to be more responsive to the needs of individuals rather than the groups than that of groups and of the world as a whole. For this reason, charitable organizations have learned to focus their campaigns on how donors can help individual victims, not suffering groups.
And what I also say is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everyone.
Absolutely. That's so true. It's so true. Why does watching the news make me feel despair? And a lot of people, that's one reason I
Ooh,
don't do true crime, because it is very, I feel, because I'm a strong empath. So I feel, everything, and I can't, it's just too stressful. It's too anxiety for me. So I'm like, I have done a couple of true crimes when I very first started, but I mean, honestly, mentally, my mental state, I am not able to do that. It's very, very triggering, and it makes your anxiety real rough, and it makes you sad to see all that shit.
yeah.
It says viewing violent news events on television or social media can also cause some people with high levels of empathy to experience symptoms similar to those of secondary trauma. That's why it's very hard.
It's
It's
triggering.
very hard. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Absolutely. How long does empathy last after a natural disaster? Which I know some people have had natural disasters of hurricanes and, just a bunch of crazy weather. It says soon after a catastrophe, an outpouring of assistance and support is extended to people affected by disaster. However, empathy starts to wear off quickly. This happens because we become fatigued when we're exposed continually to the suffering of others. Treating compassion fatigue. Hospitals, nurses, and police unions, medical associations, correctional facilities, and other professional groups have become more aware of the effects of secondary trauma and now urge those in the helping professions to offset such fatigue. Can you prevent such fatigue? We think someone else's problem is theirs, not ours. Yet we are all linked more than we realize. The more we bother to be a good influence in the world, the better the world will be, not just for others, but for us. How do you treat compassion fatigue? You can counteract such fatigue through regular exercise and
Oh,
healthy eating, a
oh.
commitment. I
Mm,
know, I'm just going. Commitment to adequate rest and regular time off and time in therapy. It
yeah.
also helps to set emotional boundaries without barricading yourself from the world.
No, I'm not doing any of those things.
He said, absolutely not. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Let's see. Do people who suffer with this fatigue self medicate?
Hmm?
People experiencing compassion
Oh.
fatigue may secretly self medicate with alcohol, drugs, gambling, or food.
Hmm?
Left unaddressed, compassion fatigue can develop into clinical depression or post traumatic stress disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. Are there other strategies that can help? Other techniques like mindfulness, meditation, or yoga, which neither, in my opinion, neither one of those work. Meditation or yoga just don't work for me. Everybody's different. And times with loved ones or in nature or devoted to interests or hobbies outside of work have have also been found to lessen the symptoms of compassion fatigue.
I think if you have depression and you try to meditate, all you do is wind up crying. I'm pretty
Oh yeah,
sure.
I mean, because you're trying to calm your head down, you're trying to calm your mind down, and it just pisses you off, and you're just like, I can't do this shit. I
Well,
can't do
you're
it.
supposed to just sit in your thoughts, in your own thoughts. You're not supposed to listen to
Mhm.
anything or have music or videos or anything going on. You're just supposed to sit in your own thoughts, and that can lead you down a rabbit hole in your own brain that just is not a good place to go. So,
Mm-mm. Nope, nope. So it's always nice to have somebody to talk to, even if they don't understand. It's still nice to get it out and say, hey, or like I tell you guys, I'm here for you guys. I might not understand what you're going through, but I can be here for you and listen, and that means a lot. It really
yes,
does,
it does.
So just to let somebody know that you're supported and that you're there for them, it does, and you can rant all you want to, and if you ever come to me, I might rip back at you. We'd just be ramping at each other.
Hmm.
It's always good to have somebody, to talk to.
I try and talk to my girlfriend sometimes, but she has a bad habit of not saying anything back. So yeah, no, it's not much.
Uh,
She's not a professional therapist, so it's like, what am I supposed to expect?
it's like I'm not either, but I've never claimed to be a therapist or nothing like that. I just want to be there for people. And I know because I'm an empath, I feel others' emotions and it can be draining. But when I'm a real person, and when I say that I'm there for somebody, I wholeheartedly am. And
But
I
she
just
does
put
help
my shit on the back burner. You know what I
when I'm
mean?
having those really bad days. She doesn't, you know, she
Yeah.
she does support.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's always good to have somebody to talk to.
Man,
It really truly is, because if you don't have somebody to talk to you, it eats you alive pretty much. You know,
yeah, I
um,
mean, can
it
still do.
says, does resilience, is that correct? Resilience.
Resilience. I've lost where you are. Where? Oh, relaxation techniques to help build social support networks to cope with symptoms that arise. Oh, resilience. Yeah, that's sorry.
Resilience. Okay. It's all
I'll
right.
be.
It says a 2015 study of journaling and continuing education in nursing argues for resilient. That's a hard word to say.
Resilience.
Resilience training, a program designed to educate care workers about this type of fatigue and its risk factors. Such trainings teaches how to employ relaxation techniques and build social support networks to cope with symptoms that arise. I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know.
I heard of breathing techniques that help when I had to call for like an online therapist, sort of. So all she could really do is teach me breathing techniques so that you count to four while slowly breathing in, and then you hold it and count to four, and then you let it out and count to four, and then you hold it while it's already out and count to four. So you kind of like,
Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
yeah, it's all the, yeah. It kind of helps. It slows down your heart a little bit.
Right. Now here's another one, and then we'll just talk about it.
Okay.
And let's see. Well, we're here for you, mentors. So if you ever need somebody to talk to, I mean, I got a Facebook and email, and we're here for you in chat too. So if you ever need anybody, we're here for you. No questions asked. Since day one, I've wanted this to be a supportive, and I mean, we support one another in karaoke, which is excellent. It always makes us feel a little better for that short time being. But I want to let people know they're also supported in other ways as well. I'm like I said, I myself suffer with so much mental health. It's crazy. So I just think, trivia or karaoke, it helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
It really does. It gets your mind off of it, because you're like more focusing on singing a song or listening to others sing than you are listening. Than you are dealing with your own hell and demons for that time being.
Yeah.
So even if it's just for a couple hours, to be, a difference in somebody's life, and let them know that their mind, that keep their kind of mind busy with the music. I think it does help for that little time frame. All right. This is compassion fatigue, the toll of caring too much.
Yeah, this is what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm
Let me
talking
try to
about.
make this a little bigger because I know that is itty bitty and I can't even hardly see it. Let me see. Okay. Is
That
that a
was the
little
one
better?
thing that people said. Oh yeah, that's definitely big. But that's like people said my biggest fault is that I care too much about what I do, and
Right. Right.
that's a problem.
Right. It says compassion fatigue involves emotional and physical exhaustion that can affect people who have been exposed to other people's traumas or stressors. It is characterized by decreased ability to emphasize feelings of helplessness and burnout due to the demands of supporting those who are suffering. It is also sometimes referred to as secondary or vicarious trauma. The ability to feel compassion and empathy for others is essential for pro social behaviors and supportive interpersonal relationships. Authentic compassion, as opposed to being polite or nice, is a complex neuropsychological process that is related to the frontal lobe executive functioning. I'm not a doctor. I'm just going over this. I have no idea.
The
Says the most
medulla
recent,
oblongata.
yeah, I
Something
have no idea. The most recently developed and most complex of cognitive processes to
Mm.
engage in compassion, you have to be cognitively present, understand one's social surroundings, and be aware of one's impact on others. Dr. Zilmer, professor of neuropsychology at Drexel University. I don't know.
Mm.
It says for people who support those who are suffering, such as those who work in helping professions, continual exposure to other people's trauma can take a toll, making people feel that their well of compassion has been drained dry. Even when people want to emphasize, they may find that they simply don't have the emotional and physical resources to do so. Compassion fatigue is more common in people who work in professions where they are tasked with supporting people who have experienced trauma. People who work in healthcare settings are often more susceptible, including nurses, doctors, first responders, home health aides, therapists, social workers, and other helping professionals. It can also affect caregivers who are responsible for the day to day care of a loved one with a medical or mental health condition. What are the signs of compassion fatigue? While it is common for individuals working in professions that involve healing others to experience compassion fatigue, it can happen to anyone, especially if you're that family member, friend, or coworker everyone turns to for guidance and support. Says Dr. Shakira. Yeah, I can't pronounce her name.
Kira Espinata.
Yeah, that one. It says MD Live, Associate Chief of Behavior Health.
Mm.
Even behavior health professionals who are trained to take on the trauma and suffering of others experience it, she explains. Compassion fatigue can affect people differently, but a few common signs can include feelings of emotional, physical, and psychological exhaustion, feeling detached, cynical, or apathetic, excessive ruminating and worrying about other people's suffering, blaming yourself or others for not doing enough to help or prevent a trauma, irritability or anger, emotional numbness, feelings of sadness, feelings of helplessness, difficulty sleeping, changes in appetite, stomach upset, nausea, dizziness, changes in your worldview or spiritual beliefs, struggling to empathize with people who are suffering. Hold on just a minute, guys.
Should I read that next? I can continue for you. People with compassion fatigue often find themselves feeling increasingly pessimistic. Maybe I can't keep
Pessimistic.
reading. Pessimistic. Ah,
Pessimistic.
thank you for helping me with that one.
Go ahead.
They may question their beliefs and question whether there is any good in the world. In the workplace, they may feel unappreciated, loss, lose confidence and interest, and struggle to feel compassion towards people and their care. Well, other people, I would have to say. Huh?
The telltale sign of feeling of numbness or finding yourself lacking empathy towards the suffering of others, you may find yourself feeling generally annoyed,
Mm.
irritable, judgmental, or sad. You may want to keep helping, but you feel like you have nothing left to offer. Wow, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep, guys.
Pretty close. That's
Yeah.
pretty much all my irritable and that's all my
Uh-huh.
emotions and
Yeah,
sad and annoyed,
I hear you.
judging other people. Yeah, that's fun.
Yes. These are what are the stages. I honestly didn't know there were stages, but we're getting
Mm,
ready to find out what they are. So
mhm,
I appreciate you
mhm.
guys being in here. If y'all haven't hit the like, please do so. Please do so. I know not a lot of people come in here, but I appreciate any kind of support. And I appreciate the ones that are in here or the ones that are watching. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
really do.
Let me
What are
just take
the
a guess at
stages?
what the last stage is. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take a wild guess. It might be have something to do with unalive, so just continue. Let's
Right.
just yeah.
Well, I hope not, but we're getting ready to cover it together.
It's just a guess.
And if it says unalive, then I will say unalive. I will not say that other word because it can
Mm,
be very triggering to some, you know.
mm,
So,
mhm,
what are the stages of compassion fatigue? Compassion fatigue tends to happen gradually over time. It's important to remember that this is a progressive and cumulative process, and that compassion fatigue is the end stage. Wow.
mm. Oh.
Researcher Charles Figley has suggested a causal model that describes different factors that predict the onset of compassion fatigue. It occurs in four primary stages. Yeah, I didn't even know that it occurred in any stages because I didn't know nothing about it until Mr. A or Bradley or Bentley or whatever y'all want to call him asked me to go over it. And
I
this
don't
is
know about this yet.
many months ago. Many months ago.
Yeah, I read a little bit of something that more pertains to me, so I don't know about everything about this, especially what Mr. Figley has to say. I don't know about this. Go
Well,
on
that's
then,
what I said,
Figley.
you're gonna when we were finished going over this, you just say your thoughts to an like you said, you can only do a certain extent, but you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
tell us your thoughts, of it. It's your opinion,
Mhm.
and kind of if you suffer with it, kind of like any tips or anything to maybe help somebody or just anything you want to talk about, you know. So
Yeah.
empathetic ability. This involves the ability of the individual to notice other people's pain. Figley suggests that this ability is a keystone of helping professions, which then exposes people to emotional cost of caring. As
Mm.
part of this aspect of compassion fatigue, people must also experience an empathetic concern, which involves a desire to relive or relieve other people's pain and suffering. Number two, empathetic response. As a result of exposure to a person experiencing pain, people then have an empathetic response. In this stage, they engage in actions to understand the other person and explore ways to help them. Number three, compassion stress. At this point, people begin to experience residual compassion stress, particularly if they are helping someone who has ongoing trauma. Compassion fatigue. Unless a person is able to sufficiently manage their compassion stress, the risk of developing compassion fatigue increases. The risk of reaching this stage is greater if a person is exposed to the secondary trauma for a prolonged period of time or if they begin to have traumatic recollections of past traumas. Sorry about it, guys. If y'all hear the kids in the background, they're still wired, so I
Easy.
apologize. People may also experience significant life disruptions, including increased illness, changes in lifestyle, problems managing personal or professional responsibilities, and
Mhm.
feelings of anxiety or depression. All of these things make it more likely that the individual will develop compassion fatigue. When exposure to stress is prolonged, continuous, and intense, it makes it more likely that people will then experience compassion fatigue. Causes of compassion fatigue.
I gotta
Compassion
know.
fatigue is caused by prolonged exposure to secondary trauma. Wow. So it's kind of like PTSD in a way, it's trauma.
Just
So,
somebody else's trauma, yeah, so
yeah,
somebody if you're caring for somebody or something that is having trauma affecting them and you're trying to help them, it affects you as well.
absolutely. That's kind of like where empathy comes into play,
Mhm,
the feeling other people's emotions and trying to be there for me.
and
It
when
can
you
be
do it too
draining.
much, you lose the ability to have it anywhere else.
Absolutely. It says people may be more likely to experience it if it if they also feel they lack control of the situation or have a sense of helplessness. One of the key
Yeah,
elements behind compassion fatigue is the constant demand for empathy. While empathy is essential in helping professions, it can become emotionally exhausting when the demand for empathy is persistent and excessive.
hmm,
Compassion is a cognitive,
cognitive process,
yes, thinking about
that
one's own thinking.
huh,
It is one of the highest forms of cognitive, in my opinion, and therefore one only visits compassion. You can't live there. It would be cognitively exhausting, Dr. Zimmer explains. I don't know.
that didn't make a lot of sense,
I
no.
know. I know. When people engage in too much authentic compassion, fatigue sets in.
Mm, no,
People
that
who work in helping professions such as nursing and therapy rely on empathy to help them connect with others.
if you
This
have compassion,
allows,
it better be authentic.
I don't know. Honey, I don't know. We're kind of going over it together. So that's why I like to pull up two to three. I mean, like this is I'm only doing one more because if it's just be myself, I'll pull up a couple more. But since I have a guest up here, that way we can chat about it.
Yeah,
But
this is
I like to see different because different websites have different um like explanations. So I'll
yeah,
try to pull up two different ones and you can kind of piece them all together, if that makes sense.
yeah,
It says people who work in helping professions such as nursing and therapy rely on empathy to help them connect with others.
mhm,
This allows them to take the other person's perspective, understand their pain, and respond to their needs in ways they can relieve suffering. I
mm.
apologize.
I don't wanna relive it.
Much love to you, criminal man. Much love to you all.
Yeah, love, love.
Absolutely. There are also factors that can increase a person's risk of developing compassion fatigue in such situations. These can include, which we did talk about it on the other website, but this one is just, it's kind of more shorter, but is similar to the same thing. High stress levels, poor coping skills, lack of social support, which is a huge thing. Like I said, I want you guys to know that you're supported over here. I don't want y'all to ever think that y'all don't have nobody to talk to because I'm here for you guys and we're here. I want this whole community to be there and lift each other up and be a difference. And because, I suffer with so much mental health that you guys don't realize how much you guys have helped me in the long run. And, it just warms my heart. And then, I'm able to help somebody else. So y'all don't know how much y'all mean to me, as in helping me. I still suffer, trust and believe that. But
Yeah,
just being with you guys definitely helps a whole lot for just that short time
and
frame.
you help us.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. It says insufficient self care and a history of trauma. Working in a setting that involves constant exposure to trauma, such as emergency services or social work, increases a person's risk of experiencing compassion fatigue. Research has found that among helping professionals, the prevalence of compassion fatigue ranges from 7.3% to 40%. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Hmm,
40%?
mhm,
Wow, that's almost half. That's almost half if you're working in a um like a emergency, like a doctor's office or just medical professional. Oh my gosh, wow.
mhm.
That's pretty high up there. That's
Especially if you actually care about what you do, then
absolutely. And absolutely, that's true. Because some people, they might do it and then they get burnout and act like they just don't give a shit about nobody. You know what I mean? But if you actually genuinely care about what you do, then of course it's gonna mess with you a little.
I
You know
always
what I
have and I always will, and I've been with people that just they it's just a job to them, and I guess that's better way, it's a better way of living,
mean? Right.
but that's not what I can do.
Right. Burnout versus compassion fatigue. But I still, in my personal opinion, feel like that it's in a burnout in a way. You know what I mean? There's different
Hmm.
types of burnouts, you know.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like a fatigue burnout. This is like an empathy burnout. Like you're doing so much and you're just like I, it just gets to you. You're
There's
like, I can
physical
only do so
exhaustion.
much.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Which I have. I definitely get physical exhaustion, but then there's mental exhaustion, which is what does a burnout. Yeah, fatigue. It's
Exactly. Exactly.
mental. Yeah.
Says while compassion fatigue and burnout share similarities, there are important distinctions between the two. Burnout refers to the state of exhaustion that causes poor motivation and a lack of interest in work. Compassion fatigue, on the other hand, is a specific type of burnout that refers to the negative emotions and loss of empathy people experience after being exposed to other people's trauma, pain, and suffering. Hello, Deanna in Ohio. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're well.
Now, one of these articles said that it made people lose their empathy for what they're caring for, and I don't agree with that. I mean, at least for me, that's not. It
Right,
loses my empathy for surroundings for everyone else. Like I can
right.
say, I don't give a shit about you or not you specifically, but
Right, I know what you mean.
yeah. Whatever, anyone, just somebody I don't know. I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck. You fell off a bridge. I don't give a fuck. But
Right, right.
but
You kinda
I
turn
still
like
care about what I still care about. That's what I'm
right,
saying.
and you kinda turn I mean, you don't mean to turn heartless, but kinda in a way you do, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because you've cared so much and you've been stomped on so much
yeah.
and you've been through so much, it's just hard not it's hard not to have a cold shoulder, if that makes sense.
My
You know what
heart
I
is
mean?
numb, and I can't feel that way. I just can't. Uh,
Exactly. Says compassion fatigue occurs predominantly in people who work in helping professionals, kind of like we were just talking about, and
mhm,
pops up for those direct patient care.
mm,
Says Kristen Tomlinson, director of grief support services for Taylor's Gift Foundation, a
mhm,
national nonprofit organization that provides grief support for families of organ, eye, and tissue donors. Wow.
mm,
Wow.
hmm.
Having patients who rely on them can be a heavy weight to carry at times, especially when they don't or can't prioritize their own well being, too. Wow. Unfortunately, such feelings can then spill over into an individual life outside of work and lead to other problems. People who experience compassion fatigue experience burnout that contributes to feelings of helplessness and hopelessness, which is a form of depression. They may become cynical about their work and feel that nothing they do will have a positive impact on relieving sorry guys, other people's pain. I can't say these words real good, but y'all see what it means. It says compassion fatigue is also marked by experiencing secondary traumatic stress. It shares similarities with post traumatic stress disorder, like I was just talking about, and may involve nightmares, sleep problems, and intrusive thoughts related to secondary trauma.
I don't have that luckily. My dreams are okay, sort of. Mm.
He said, I might remember them, and then again, I might not.
No, I remember them. They're okay. They're fine. It's kind of the same. It's weird, but it's all
Says what distinguishes compassion fatigue from burnout as a source of these feelings. Compassion fatigue stems from exposure to vicarious trauma, while burnout is caused by excessive work related stress and occupational exhaustion. Burnout can happen to anyone in any profession and is usually confined to work duties only. People experiencing burnout can feel a sense of dread at work, procrastination, negative interactions with coworkers or clients, and other symptoms. However, these symptoms usually subside when not at work,
right.
Tom Milson says.
Sure. But there's a problem with not being at work, so and we'll go over later. But yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we're gonna go. This kind of shows it. I like how they do this because it kind of shows a little bit of tidbits on each one. So, like
Ah,
burnout tends to build slowly over time. Compassion fatigue may occur suddenly.
mm, I didn't know
Um,
that.
Burnout caused by occupational stress and overwork. Compassion fatigue is caused by caring for people who are suffering.
Mm,
Wow. Burnout create work dissatisfaction, creates life dissatisfaction. Wow. Wow, compassion fatigue creates life dissatisfaction.
Oh yeah, well. I mean, who doesn't have life dissatisfaction?
Exactly.
I
Link
can't get no satisfaction.
Burnout is linked to excessive pressure. Compassion fatigue happens when people feel helpless or out of control. Burnout leads to loss of motivation, energy, and interest, and compassion fatigue leads to lack of empathy and PTSD symptoms.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's just put a little tab on it. Every time you said that caring for people, let's also put a little tab on that can also mean caring for animals too. So
Right. Exactly.
for some
Exactly.
reason these ones don't cover it, but I saw it with
It's the same. Well, I mean, it's the same thing. Caring
yeah,
for anything. I mean,
yeah.
in my opinion, it's caring for anything. You
That's
know,
having trauma too, of
animals,
course. Yeah.
just anything. It can be can affect you, especially if you care for them so much. You know what I mean? Without
Yeah.
saying, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Overcoming compassion fatigue. Now you can overcome it, and these are, I guess, steps to kind of help you if you're able to. But I like to go over this because, it's just useful, supportive information. You can always go back and rewatch this if you ever need, a little refresher, or you can watch any of the lives. They're out there. It's been a while since I've done them, but I have plenty of mental health and well-being lives out there, plenty. So they're all there, and you can always go back and rewatch them. And you can always leave me a comment, let me know what you think of, what I went over. You're always welcome to do so. That's what I don't make them private. I make them public for anybody that wants to go back and reread them or listen to the live or whatever. That's what they're there for, to help you guys. If you recognize the signs of compassion fatigue, it is important to take steps to address it before it begins to take a further toll on your emotional well being. Compassion is supposed to be a positive action. If it feels like work, it is probably too much. If it indicates that it is time for a break or to engage in more manageable acts of compassion. Overcoming compassion fatigue can take time and requires people to focus on reducing their stress levels. Some strategies that can help people recover include:
Hmm.
reduce your exposure to stress. In the short term, relieving feelings of compassion fatigue may involve taking a break from the source of stress that is causing the problem. Taking time away from work is one approach that may help, but then you'll be broke, in my opinion. You won't
Well,
have
there's
bills to
another,
pay.
like I said, there's another aspect to that. When
Yes.
you're caring for somebody and you can't really take off of work because you worry about what you're caring for when you're gone.
Absolutely. And then if you take off work, you might not have a job to go back to, and bills can't pay themselves. Unfortunately, don't you wish they could?
I don't worry about
So
that.
there's
I've got a lot of time because I don't take off of work. I've got a lot of time that I can use, and I'm not afraid of losing my job over that. But it's when you're not there, and yeah,
like in
we'll
the
go
back of
over
your
that
mind, like
maybe
kind of like
later.
without saying, but kind of like you said, you took care of animals, which everybody knows you take care of animals, but they just don't know what extent. And I won't say that, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like you're if you miss a day of work, you're like, is those animals being cared for like I do?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
So in the back of your mind, you're like, shit, I need to go check on them and make sure that they're okay. You know what I mean? And make sure they're fed, or whatever the case may be. And you're like, well, hell, I'm off for the weekend, or I'm vacation or whatever. And I'm worried about, if it's a patient, if it's a person, or if it's an animal,
Yeah.
same difference.
Just like
Or
people, they have special like, they're not all the same, and some of them have special needs that
absolutely.
you do for them, and that other people and that's, you go above and beyond sometimes. When you really care, you go above and beyond, and when you know you're not there, nobody's going above and beyond, and it it shitties your vacation because you feel bad. It shitties it.
Right. You're like, I can't even enjoy myself because in the back of my mind, I'm worried if that person or the animal or whatever the case may be is taken care of like I take care of them. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hello, Hippie G Ma. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're well.
So you
Uh,
wind up not taking off, and which
yeah.
goes with the, fatigue part of the part, yeah.
Hello, Cindy Rose. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're well. Says
Yeah.
reduce your exposure to stress. In the short term, relieving feelings of compassion fatigue may involve taking a break from the source of stress that's causing the problem, like we were just talking about. Taking time away from work is when approaching them may help, but for many, might involve temporary reducing their workload, seeing fewer patients, clients, or working in a different
It'd
area.
be nice if it's your choice, but if it's not your choice,
Exactly.
it
It says that the ability to reduce exposure can vary depending on a person's job. However, a therapist might be able to reduce their client load, while a nurse might opt to switch to working in a different area for a time. An emergency room doctor or EMT, on the other hand, typically has less control over the patients and situations they will deal with in the workplace. In such cases, it's important to find other ways to cope with compassion stress. Hello, Rip. Good to see you, my brother. Hope you're well.
Hi.
Creating emotional boundaries. The first step is to set boundaries. Recognize and accept what you can't control and focus on what you can control. Wow, that's pretty deep. It's true, but it's deep.
Yeah,
For
but a lot
many
of us can't do
people,
that.
I'm telling you, it says for many people who are helping professions who are caregivers, saying no to someone in need can be a challenge. For example, a therapist might agree to arrange sessions during off hours that interfere with their personal life. Creating specific rules for session services and hours can help. Be aware of your limits and take a step back to work on your own mental well being when you're feeling overwhelmed or experiencing negative emotions. And we're almost done with this one, guys. Practice self care. If you feel yourself starting to experience symptoms of a burnout or compassion fatigue, it's okay to step back and do what you need to do to support your own mental health and physical needs. It says, Espadata, I can't pronounce the name, but y'all see it, recommends taking steps such as maintaining a healthy work life balance, engaging in hobbies that bring you joy, kind of like karaoke. It's joyful.
Yeah.
We all love it, engaging in hobbies that bring you joy, eating a healthy diet. That's easier said than done. I'm
Mhm.
just saying, it's easier said than done. Getting enough exercise and sticking to a daily routine, which that's also easier said than done because it's always something. Life happens, life
I like
happens.
that
So
exercise.
says preventing or overcoming compassion fatigue comes down to self-care. Your physical, emotional, and psychological well-being must be in check before you can help others.
Oh.
Compassion fatigue can be risk for people who work in helping professions, particularly if they're exposed to high levels of secondary trauma. If you realize the signs of compassion fatigue, it's important to take steps to care for yourself. Hold on.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm not gonna bully you today, I promise.
Don't bully me.
She only does it on the weekends. She gets you on
Yeah.
the weekends. Oh Lord. It says self-help strategies can be effective, but it's also important to reach out for help if you need additional support. Seek professional help if you are finding it difficult to pull yourself out of the situation, especially if you are showing signs of depression, anxiety, or overwhelming stress.
Mm.
And that's all. So we're going to turn this off now
Yeah.
and let me know what you thought about the because like I said, you're the one that told me to, and I know you said you don't know a lot about it, but it was very interesting that you told me because I'm all up for if you guys have any topics you want me to cover and I haven't covered them. I mean, I don't care to do a refresher, because it might be something that I've covered like a year ago, and and there might be more to it. So I don't care if you guys want me to cover something, just let me know. I don't care not one bit to do it because I want to start doing at least a topic once a week if I'm able to,
Yeah.
and to help people, And so, I mean, I just think any kind of support is better, and support and awareness is better than no support and awareness. Letting people know that it's okay not to be okay, and that we're here for you to support you, you know.
That's what matters. That's what a lot of people need is just to be supported. There's not much, and I mean, I realize, and a lot of people should realize, hopefully, that people can't do everything for them, but just being there for them is enough. It should be. Well, not it doesn't help everything, but it definitely does help.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because I mean, like I've said before in my previous lives, you know, me and Rebel used to be part of the VFW auxiliary. Like I've never served in the military, but was part of the auxiliary because our family members served in the military, so we just gave back as like a volunteer, and we met a lot of military men and women, and it's heartbreak. I mean, it really is heartbreaking to sit there. Like there was this one, and he was precious, and God rest his soul, he passed away. But we would go to the VFW all the time. He would sit at the bar, and every time I come in there, he'd be like, "Where's my hug at, Becca?" And I would have to give him a hug, which I didn't care. Like I just to warm his heart. People, people when you do something for them, people or animals, same thing. If you do something for them, they expect it, and they're used to it. And if you don't do it, then they're going to think, well, hell, what something's wrong. Or like in an animal's case, they're like that. Well, hell, this person don't care about me no more. You know what I mean? They're not giving me the love and the attention that I'm used to, or whatever the case may be. And so like I would when we would go there quite a bit, and just to volunteer and clean or whatever we needed to do to help. And his name was HDM, God rest his soul. He was precious, and he passed away from COPD real bad. And but he always made a point, come here, and young lady, he called me young lady, and he said, young lady, Becky, you better come back here and sit right beside me because I got something to tell you. I'm like, yes, sir. So I give him a hug and I sit right beside him, and and bless his heart, he tells me the same stories over and over, but they don't get old because just little things like that, even though I've heard it still means a lot to him because he would sit there all by himself. And I mean, granted, he had, there was other veterans there that he could talk to, and I'm sure he did, but actually sitting down there and beside him and just enjoying and listening to him and showing that you care, it really means it really means a lot to that person. And it breaks my heart because he passed away and went. Hold on a minute, guys. They're right beside me now.
But you gave him a good time while he was there. And that's what I think of too. That's what I've been told first and foremost is how you treat things while they're around, though it might be a bad ending.
Absolutely.
When, you made them feel good while they were there. That's
and like I said, God rest his soul. He passed away, and it broke my heart because I was like, the VFW will not be this. I mean, because I was so used to it every time I went in there, and he was there. God rest his soul. He always said, young lady, Becca, you sit right beside me. And I've got a story to tell you, even if it was the same story. It just was never, it meant a lot to him.
It meant the world to him, yeah.
And, it breaks my heart. It really does, because I'm a strong empath, as I've told you guys. I really am. And when he passed away, he didn't have nobody. And that's really heartbreaking. So I want people to know that they're not alone, even though they might feel like they're alone. They're really, truly not alone, and let people know that they're there for you, because it really means a lot. And I know he's got his angel wings now, but I'm sure he still remembers us being there for him, and listening. And he didn't have no children of his own. He was never married. All his family was just kind of, I don't think he had much family, and if they was extremely distant and wasn't really there. So me and a couple of our friends from the VFW came together, and was there for him. We didn't know what to do in regards to like last minute situations, but it was hard. So I want people to know you might feel alone, but you're really not. You're not alone here. Like, you're definitely supported here. And please reach out. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they don't have nobody to talk to, or they're alone in this world, because I'm telling you, it's heartbreaking to see, a loved one, because he was a dear friend of mine, a loved one pass away and not have nobody. It's very hard. It's very hard. So that's why I want to let you guys know, you're definitely supported in here, and you're not alone. Not at all.
To support someone. You might not be able to do everything, but people, they're looking for help. And a lot of times they're probably the most of their experiences, what I've experienced, is that people don't care. Like you can pull your heart out sometimes, and you think, oh, people care, so, and then they just, oh, you find out, no, they don't, and they make excuses like, oh, it's just, they're not, it's not that bad, because then you don't know what I've been through or not. That you just think, oh, it's just this, so it can't be that bad, but you don't know how it, you know, what I've experienced or other people experienced. That's all
Right.
they want, is someone to not just shrug them off, going, "Oh yeah, well everyone experiences something. It's just nothing. Yeah, pull up your bootstraps and get with it." No, it's, you need somebody to know, hey, this is bad. I'm going through a tough time.
Right. And that's when I cover, the mental, because I consider this mental health, but like mental health topics like, major depression disorder, PTSD, stuff like that. I let them know, you're not, if you need a friend or grab somebody that you trust, and I know it's hard to trust people. Trust me, I've been stomped on my whole entire life because I have a huge heart and I care and I'm an empathetic or I'm an empath. I'm sorry, and I always get shit on. But I'm a people person, and when I say I'm there for you, I wholeheartedly, and I have a huge heart,
Yeah.
and I just don't want people to ever feel, well, I can't go out and talk to Becca or Angel or whatever y'all want to call me. I can't reach out to her. Well, there's several ways to reach out. And if you don't feel, if you don't feel comfortable, I mean, you can beat around the bush or you can open your heart. I don't judge and I don't tell nobody nothing. I mean, keep it to myself because, I would be the same way. Like, say, for example, I needed, Brad over there because he's a dear friend of mine. I'd be like, Brad, I need somebody to talk to. I need a vent or whatever. You wouldn't sit around and you wouldn't say, oh my gosh, Becca just told me this, this, and this, and this, because that just breaks trust. You don't do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? You just don't do that to somebody. Your heart's been stomped on a million times. And it's very hard. Hello, Kristen. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're well. Cindy Rose says society tells us what we should feel or that we are feeling too much or we have to change the coldness or getting over
Everyone
something.
says.
Feelings have their own timing. We all have them. So why hide them? Absolutely. We're all human.
Well, that's another thing about me specifically, is that I do have mental disabilities, and one of them, one of the side effects of, I think, ADHD and stuff. But one of the side effects I have is heightened emotions. So I've always had heightened emotions. I've always been a very emotional person. So that's another thing that goes against me with what I do. So to
Right.
get into it a little bit, like you said, I can't say exactly.
Right. Right. Well, you're fine, but they know you work with animals. So just if you want to leave it at that.
Yeah, which
I don't mean it
sucks.
because I got a lot of background noise so everybody can hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It sucks in two ways. One, because I want to say, I want people to help me, or whenever I want to say, oh, I'm having this problem here because this specifically happened to me, but I can't say what specifically and how it happened and stuff like that. And also, on the lighter side, I have a lot of pride in what I do, and I think it's very cool and interesting, and I'd like to show people, but I can't do that because it's against the rules and I'll lose my job. So, and I respect that. There's reasons for it, and I agree with the reasons for it. So I don't want to go against that. But it is, it is still kind of hard, and I'd like to say as much as I can. Um, what we were talking about before with they did really go over it very well, and how when you're caring for something, and I've been doing what I've been doing for a very long time, and it just seems like you go through the pattern of things, and I've never lost any sort of love a bit for, they say, it can become numb, and I've been doing it for so long, but I still love what I care for as much as I did as the first day I started, and I won't do that because they deserve that. Uh, what they're doing for us, again, I can't say too much, but what they're doing for us is a great deal. And oh yeah, that's another thing. What they were saying about what you were reading, they said that some people can feel useless, and I don't particularly feel that. There are a lot of things that I can't do
that because of my mental disability, other disabilities, that I do feel that I can't do. Doesn't make me a proper adult, but what was it? The things that I can't do. But I don't feel useless because I do know that what I'm doing, even in the slightest bit, does affect like humanity. I am what we are doing is progressing health and making so that people don't suffer, and everyone is affected by what I'm trying to stop. And it is a monster, and I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing. As hard as it can be, there is a reason for it. So I do feel like I'm useful. So it's still hard, and but yeah, and in that way, I do feel that I'm helping, and the things that I am taking care of, they don't choose to be there. It's not a voluntary thing, and they can't take care of themselves, obviously, and what we are doing only benefits us. If the thing I'm caring for in the wild winds up for this, it can't go to the hospital and say, hey, I helped my species help make a cure for this, so why don't you inject me real quick? It doesn't happen that way. So they're only helping us. So that's why I do feel a very good need to do a very good job at what I do. I don't do it good enough. That's why I hate when people come in and say, "Oh, I'm just going to do my job good enough." No, we don't do it good enough. You do it good. I don't like that. You know, when you're caring for something living that depends on you, it's kind of hard to do a shitty job if you're a good person, if you're a good person, which goes back to, oh, it's just take some time off to relieve yourself. Yeah. So, when you're worried about something that needs you, and specifically maybe specifically you, it's hard to take off. So then you don't, which there's another article and website that I was reading about that did talk about how people who have compassion fatigue become afraid to take off of work because of and what happens when they're not there. And I mean, as much as I can talk, I don't know if I can put this vaguely, but yes, I have experienced the curse of vacation. A lot of times when I take vacation, I come back to something I don't want. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it at something very bad. I come back to something missing that I liked being there. And yeah, it's hard to deal with. And they also talk about there was other articles on this that I read about that said that some places are better at communication to when things might be leaving. So, but my place is not that good at that. So sometimes I just in the middle of sweeping up, I see that something's gone, and that's not very fun. So it's multiple things. It's not just if everything was hunky dory, that would still be traumatizing. But there's other cases, or when things aren't hunky dory, and it can, it sucks. So, I don't know if there's anything else that they covered about that. It's just that, yeah, it's nice for support, and that's all. I just want to be out there to say, hey, I'm having a tough time, and people to say, hey, I understand. I understand, and not, oh, it's stupid because of this, or you shouldn't feel this way, or you're too sensitive. I just want to say, hey, I want people to say, hey, I understand and I feel for you. That's it. That's all I need.
That's right. Now you was talking about animals, so I just come across this one. I don't know if it pertains, which you can only say so much, but I
Yeah.
did come across this one, And I was like, oh, it kind of, because you do care for animals. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe this might be a little bit useful for what you were talking about. It says healthcare workers and pet veterinarians are no strangers to compassion fatigue. Being surrounded by suffering and dying patients can extract a profound mental, emotional, and physical toll, a sort of traumatic stress proxy. But the condition also strikes a shocking number of lab animal workers, a community of tens of thousands worldwide that include everyone from cage cleaners to veterinarians who oversee entire animal facilities.
Hmm.
Besides the symptoms, sessions experienced those who handle lab animals may face insomnia, chronic physical ailments, zombie-like lack of empathy, and in extreme cases, severe depression, substance abuse, and thoughts of unaliving yourself, like you were
Yeah.
talking about earlier. As many as 9 in 10 people in the profession will suffer from compassion fatigue at some point during their careers. According to recent research, more than twice the rate of those who work in hospital intensive care units. It's one of the leading reasons animal care workers quit.
Yeah.
Wow. Says, yet few in the animal research community want to talk about the problem and few want to listen.
If you can't.
Yeah. I mean, I know what I mean. It says, those caregivers also feel deeply bonded to these creatures, from rodents to rabbits to monkeys. I can't pronounce that word. Do you know what this word is?
Oh, I don't know that one. No.
Dysantomy? Dysantomy? I don't know, guys. I'm trying. Says put them in a difficult position. Unlike doctors or pet vets, those in lab animal communities aren't just surrounded by pain and death. They're often the ones causing it. Experimental drugs can sicken animals. Implanted devices may cause discomfort and I can't say that word.
Experimental drugs can sicken animals. Implanted devices can discomfort. And euthanasia.
Yeah, typically comes long before animal would die from natural causes. Let's see. That's made those in the field loath to reach out for help. At best, friends and family don't understand what they do or why. At worst, animal right groups vilify them as torturers and unalivers.
Which is why I can't talk about.
That's all right. It's okay. That's why I wanted to, kind of in a way, what you were talking about, animals. I just popped up at compassion fatigue and caring for animals, and this is what popped up. So
Yeah, that animal right. That's why, because people
Yeah.
protest and shit like that. So that's
It
why I
says,
can't talk about it.
institutions are squeamish about discussing or addressing compassion fatigue for fear of attracting negative attention to their animal research programs or
Yeah.
hitting from public view in university basement or windowless facilities. Those who tend to lab animals have largely suffered in silence. Compassion fatigue is an invisible population's invisible disease. Wow.
Yeah.
I became extremely overcome with emotions I didn't know I had. I had no idea what I was dealing with. Wow. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that's kind of
Yeah.
many of the strategies that benefit others who suffer compassion fatigue may not work for the lab animal community. A profession ripe with unique triggers and challenges. Someone has to do something. However, Van Hoser says, if we don't try, we won't survive. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going to send this to you so that way you can read it somewhere if you would like to. I don't care not one bit to read it to you. I mean, I don't want to make it triggering. I'm just saying, people that, even because, Brad takes care of animals. That's all we need to know. He takes care of animals. So, it could
Pretty
be,
special.
it can be rough, especially when you care for them, So
Yeah.
I would definitely send you this. If you don't care, I would definitely send it to you.
Oh yeah, I'd like to check it out. Definitely. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Absolutely. I mean, anything to try to help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that, but yeah, that's the very first, when I put compassion and fatigue and caring for animals. That's all I put. And the first thing that popped up was, it's called Suffering in Silence. Caring for research animals can take, hold on a minute. It says caring for research animals can take severe mental toll. Is anyone listening? Wow, that's an interesting topic, though. I mean, really, it really truly is. And I don't know
Sounds like
what
that.
I don't know what you do for animals. I just know you care for them. So that's all we need to know.
Suffering in silence. I like that. That's yep, exactly. Thank you. thanks,
But yeah, I'll send it
thanks
to
for
you. I mean,
saying
like,
what I cannot say.
I know
I
because,
definitely
like
help.
there's only certain things you can say and there's certain things you can't say, which I completely understand. And we don't judge over here. I'm just saying, and
I
caring
know.
for anything,
I
whether
really
it's
love and
animal or a
appreciate
human,
the little
can be rough.
community you have here. I love it, and I definitely appreciate all of you. It's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we finally got it covered. You got anything
Yeah,
else? I don't want to
we
keep
did
you
it.
real long because I know you got to go to bed. But
Oh yeah,
I try not to make these too long. You know what I mean?
no,
But
I
you
think
got
we did.
anything else you would like to go over before we close it out? Because I know you got to get up at the butt crack of dawn in the morning.
No, no, yeah. I think we did it all. This was great. It was definitely so. Yeah, help everyone. Everyone, you know, just listen sometimes. Sometimes people need someone to listen to, and just be compassionate. Because some
Absolutely.
people have run out of compassion.
Absolutely. And then and I know this sounds crazy, but there's so many freaking well, I mean, it's not crazy because you guys know there's so many judgmental people in this world. And
Yeah.
if they could just sit down and take time to listen to people, you know what I mean? Like they might better understand what somebody's going through, or they might be going through that themselves and didn't even realize it until that person talked about it. You know what I'm saying? And they might be able to reach out and get some help and not let it eat at them. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, Kristen, she's got a bunch of birds. I haven't seen Kristen in a while, but she's got a bunch of birdies. Hello,
Oh, that's
Jen.
cool.
Good to see you. Much love to you. But yes, she's got a bunch of parrots or parakeets. I think it's
Oh,
parrots. Yeah, she's seen. I don't know if you could see that the one bird. It's right there. It's real pretty. I can't remember her name, Kristen.
I
I've got a
love
brain
watching
fart.
this. There's an awesome video or documentary, some short little film about smart birds, and they were asking the questions like, "What material is this?" And they would actually say, "Whoa!" And they say, "How many trucks are there?" And there were trucks and cars, and they would say, "4." And there was 4 trucks. It was awesome. 4. I love those kind of
Right,
birds. So smart.
right.
Help!
I'm
There
gonna
was a
send it.
bird that saved somebody's life. You want to hear? I was watching something. I think this was a Christian, like some kind of like Christian documentaries about people saving people or animals saving people. I think that's what it was. It was awesome. So some guy was working out in a field and his truck accidentally went in reverse and ran him over, and he was stuck there under his truck, and he was calling for help, 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 and no one could hear him except for a bird. And the bird started mimicking him, saying, "Help, help." And then people that were around the bird heard the bird. So they went over and they're like, "What's this bird doing?" He's going, "Help, help." And then while they were listening to the bird, they heard the guy. So they went and saved the guy's life and he was okay.
See, I'm telling you, I don't give a damn what anybody says. Animals can see. I mean, just like children can. Animals can also sense if something's wrong. Like
Yeah.
especially if like you said, you care for animals. If you're having a rough day, or if you're not like you're taking care of your animals, but they're like something's off, they're gonna
Oh,
like
yeah.
say, hey. It might smack yours. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, hey, get with the program,
My
or
Bubsy knows when I'm upset. He
or
comes
or
and
if
cuddles
or
me.
if
He knows.
or if something happened, they could reach out and might be able to save a person's life. It's just animals can sense things.
Just
They
like that
really
bird.
can.
Help!
She's got parrots. She's got Kelly Sue, which I think is in the picture, is a cockatoo, and Sky is an
Oh,
Indian ringneck.
I like a cockatoo or 3.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
That's a
But I sent that to you. I don't know if it sent the link, but I
Mm.
sent it to you in the message. So you might be, if it didn't send the link, you might be able to copy and paste it, or just type it in and be able to read it. So
Okay. Yeah.
oh, she said the parrot he is talking about is Apollo.
Really?
The
You know
parrot you're
what? You
talking
know the
about is
story I'm
Apollo.
talking about? Help! Help!
That's what she said. The parrot he is talking about is Apollo. Oh, see, that's interesting.
Oh,
She knew what you were talking about.
And
Wow.
at the end of that video, they interviewed the guy, the owner of the bird, and they asked him, "Has the bird ever done anything else to help somebody? Ever called out anything?" And he's like, "Nah, the bird's never said anything." And the bird started going, "Right, right, no, 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 no." Sorry.
Exactly, because you're like, oh my gosh, these birds are okay, but then they come out with this saying all kinds of crazy shit, you know. I'm telling you, they do. And animals, just like, you know, like you can read certain people, you can tell if they're a good person or not a good person. But I'm telling you, animals can really read people.
That's right.
They can
Dogs
tell you
can
if you're a
sense if
good
someone's
person
a
or not.
Terminator or not.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. But they got that not sick sense, but sixth sense or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? That can they
Did you
they can sense things.
did you know that there's dogs that can sniff cancer? Have you ever heard of that?
Really, I didn't
This
know
is a
that.
long time ago. I've seen this a long time ago, but there's dogs that sniffed out cancer. I swear to God, they had people
Oh
like
my
laying
gosh!
like this, like prone out, and a dog
Right.
would circle their body and then stop at the part of the body they would search, and there'd be cancer there.
Oh my gosh! I've never heard that one.
I saw that in school when I was in school for
Wow.
caring for animals. Yeah, animal care class. So that was a long ass time ago.
She said, Kelly. She
I wonder-
said,
it might not be true. I don't know.
Kelly Sue is a mullah. I get mullah Moluccan.
Oh, oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Did you see the bird in the picture? Hold on, got that on it. Sorry. Did you see her bird in the picture beside her name?
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
bird.
I see it.
That's
Oh,
for
it's a
Kelly
cutie.
Sue. Yes, that's her baby.
Malukan.
Yeah, when dogs growl, pay attention. That is so true. I'm telling you, criminal. It's so true.
Did Rebel heard of that? What I was talking about?
Yes, I have.
He's right
Yeah, I
behind you.
know. Yeah. It was on something. There's some documentary that showed that. It was crazy.
Well,
Dogs can sniff a lot of things.
Well, that's
They
why
sure can.
they make a lot of dogs per se, and I'm not talking about other animals, but they make a lot of dogs service animals because they can sense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what their owner's going through, and like I have my little dog. His name's Harley. And he's a puppy. He's like 8 or 9 months old. He's just a baby. But, you know, if I'm having a bad day, like anxiety or something like that, he always comes over and checks on me. And he's never been taught that. They can just sense their owners or distressed or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
Don't some people have special dogs that can sense when they're about to have a seizure?
yes.
And then
And
they
they
do
would
things so they
train
don't
that.
hurt
Yep.
themselves? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dogs are amazing. I'm a cat person, but dogs are cool.
Well, you know, and that's what I was just saying, for example, because most times you go to the store, you see a dog,
Dogs are too much
service
work.
dog, you know.
Yeah. I feel bad about I feel bad about leaving my cat when I go to work, but I feel terrible about leaving a dog. Oh, look at that. Look at that little Jub. Hey there, Jub.
Say, my name's Onyx.
Onyx.
Pretty boy.
Rat.
Let me see. You can't really see him.
I have a cricket for you.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
Look at that little.
Yeah, we're
cutie
animal
dog.
lovers. Say hi.
Now that one,
Blinking.
he doesn't change
Hi,
colors, right?
guys.
That's only
Just his chin.
only
right
certain. It doesn't change colors, right?
No.
there.
He's
his jaws do.
yeah. When he gets irritated, he gets
It's a
black.
Black jaw.
Yeah.
Oh, just his jaw.
Yeah.
Oh.
It flares out. It flares out kind of like a turkey or something, and it turns black, and he's
There is three that there is two more that I'm looking for: a solid red one and a solid albino.
Oh.
And they're going to be, I'm going to call them Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
It's a tag team from WCW. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Kristen
I'm
said-
watching old WCW. I don't remember it. I'm currently watching it because I didn't watch it back in the day.
Oh, you missed out.
She said, Kristen said that her bird, Kelly Sue, she was locked in a cage for 16 years before we got her, or I got her, so she can't fly. Dogs can detect high or low blood sugar also.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Criminal Man said, yes, dogs pick up on movement a person makes prior to a seizure.
Wow.
Mentor said, yeah, my mom's dog is trained to alert on seizure. Her dog alerted when I had my seizure 2 weeks ago and cracked my head. Oh, bless your heart, honey.
Wow.
Lord have mercy.
I don't think dogs are that smart. I think that they're just special angels and they're given a special power. Because a lot of them are real dumb.
Yeah, what Shelby, honey, well, I'm still gonna do the karaoke. It sucked what happened the other day, but unfortunately, until I'm gonna eventually do a kick. I just gotta get everything set up.
Ooh, there you go.
But because Rebel, he's already got a kick, but I could stream here and then stream to kick too. So if it does do like it did the other day, we can always run over to kick real quick and finish off the show or whatever. It's just crazy that it done it, but unfortunately, singing karaoke, even though it was Brad's song and he was speaking it, and you could barely hear the music, they struck it. So I mean,
it's
not really
a special Thanksgiving song, and I want to do it. What the heck?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, daggone it. And I said, well, maybe next time. I said, well, maybe tomorrow, if you're able to, if you're not busy and you're able to, maybe find the song without music. So you are just talking it out.
Okay. Well, I could get the karaoke like I played and you could just not share it. How about that?
Yeah. Or you can, like I said, or you can just turn your music down and you're just talking it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I'll turn it off. Hear it. And, yeah. You can just put me full screen. I'll turn my music off.
Ooh, mentors.
Because there wasn't somebody there that really wanted to hear it, was there?
Yes, there were several people that wanted to hear it, but I think because if you're talking it out and not and that per se what you was going over is kind of like a song, but not like a song. It's more like a story. And Steve-O, he said his story the other day, that joke, which was funnier than hell. So I'm thinking if you're able to and you want to, you can just not share it and then just mute the music and just talk out the words. And they shouldn't say a damn thing about that, because that's you speaking, unless they copyrighted your voice. I'm just saying. He's like,
What the hell? What the hell? That's my Nick Nolte impression. What the hell?
Our mentor said, my mom's dog likes to eat our cat's poop. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, my cat's butt smells like cat food.
Hey, 426, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. But yeah, I didn't want to make this too long, guys. So, because I know that Brad has to get up with the butt crack of dawn in the morning. The kids are on their Thanksgiving break, but I know a lot of people still have to get up early in the morning. So that's why I try to not make these
more day, and then it's Thanksgiving.
And then we're going to be fat and sassy. Now I'm not going live, me or Rebel, or neither one of us are going live on Thanksgiving, which that's that. He said, he said we might, but I'm not on this end. You know what I mean? But because we know a lot of people will be with their families and stuff like that, and that's completely fine. But we just hope you guys, if we don't see you guys, we hope y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you guys back again Friday for the karaoke.
Rebel's going live tomorrow.
Rebel's going live tomorrow, and I'm going live tomorrow night for
1 p.m.
Oh, he's going live at 1 p.m. for call-in music on Watch Hash Family. Let me get the link just in case if anybody's not subbed up to it.
Sub up.
And then tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, just for a couple hours, not too massively long, just for a couple hours, we're going to have some karaoke. Not Thursday, Lord, see, I've got a brain fart. Thanksgiving Eve karaoke. So that way we got a little bit of good vibes before all hell breaks loose on Thanksgiving and everybody's scrambling around to get with their families and everything else. So yeah. Oh my goodness.
Listen, Adam Sandler, dude, who does a Thanksgiving song? Doesn't somebody do a Thanksgiving song? I want to do a Thanksgiving song.
I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna like I said, we have live scheduled tomorrow night for some karaoke, and it's just for going to be for a couple of hours, just to shoot the shit and have little fun times before the holiday kicks in and all that. Because I love the holidays. Don't get me wrong, but they can be extremely stressful.
Woo.
It's already crazy. This traffic is crazy in my little town, so I could just
Wow.
imagine. And then Black Friday is going to be crazy.
Well,
I don't do Black Friday shopping. Absolutely not. Hell to the no. No, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. No offense to people that do it,
I
but
do
me,
Cyber
myself
Monday.
personally, it's dangerous. And some people look forward to Cyber Monday because they could just shop online.
One time I fought Arnold Schwarzenegger over an action figure on Black Friday.
Oh my gosh. See what I mean? Like it's crazy. So Mentor said the Peanuts have a Thanksgiving song. Well, if you're able to and not doing nothing, you should come up and sing it tomorrow if they have it karaoke. Or if they
Isn't
don't
that
have
just
karaoke,
piano?
you can always mute the music.
Yeah.
Not me. Hell to the no. I'm staying my fat booty right here. I ain't even.
We'll go out on Blue Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday.
we needed the money.
But I really appreciate you coming in here, my friend.
This was nice. I liked
finally-
it. We finally did it. We did
Finally.
it.
After months and months and months.
Yeah, woo! We did it. It's done. And now
Woo-woo!
everyone knows. And you know what? Knowing is half the battle. And that's all
Absolutely.
that matters.
Yes. But please reach out. I mean, like, please do. Because it's just knowing that somebody is there for you really does mean a lot. And I mean, I'm talking from experience. It really does mean a lot to somebody. You know, like I always say, you know, people remember what you said to them and what you done for them. Just like I was talking about earlier, sitting with the, VFW veteran. His name was HD, and God rest his soul, he's no longer with us.
Oh,
But,
high
just
definition.
little things like that mean a lot, So people will always remember that.
I
So
hope the little jokes that I tell and the funny people remember that. And they think, some of the funny things that I say pertains to regular life. So when you encounter things that, that I hope that you think of me and remember that. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I sent you that. Let me know if that link, I guess it's a link. I don't really know how I sent it to you, but if you can't find it, I'll figure out a way to send it to you so you can read over what we went over, what I
Yeah.
told you I would send you. So
You can send it to me through the Twitter private message.
yeah,
right?
I did.
Okay, then that'll work. That'll be just that.
I don't know if it was a link though. I copied the if you go to the HTTP,
I'll just look
you
it
know
up
what I'm talking about. I copied it, so you should be able to find it, and that way you can go over a little bit more. But thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with me and going over this with
Anytime.
me. I appreciate it so much. I know you got to get in bed, so that's why I try not to keep you too long.
It's okay.
But I really appreciate it.
Anytime you need a co-host, even if it doesn't pertain to me, I'm here to support you.
Well, I really appreciate it, my friend, more than you know. I really do. I really do. I really do. Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
appreciate you too, more than you know.
And if anybody wants, if you have any more topics, or if anybody has any topics that we want to go over, I call it topics, but if anybody wants us to go over anything,
I want to talk about sharks.
and if you want it, listen at you. And if you want B-Rad to come up and co-host, I'm sure I'll just let him know. As long as he's free, he don't care. I mean, he wouldn't care to come up here. As long as it's not too late and he's free to do so. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm reading Mentors there, the Bloodhound Gang. Yeah. That's my theme song, and I'm a wrestler.
Oh my goodness.
My wrestling theme song is "I Hope You Die" from the Bloodhound Gang.
But yeah, have a good night. Like I said, don't forget, if you're able to, tomorrow, and look at the picture, guys, I got. I have to show you guys this before I leave, because some people don't pay attention to my little whatever the picture is that on on the live. They don't pay attention. They just go in. They don't really pay attention to the live. But check this out, guys. I love it. I found it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and it worked out perfectly for tomorrow night's karaoke. Check it out. Look at the picture. He's singing.
Yeah.
Ain't he cool?
Little Turkey Tom singing a song.
I was like, he's discoing and singing. How could you? That's freaking cool.
Disco dance.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. I just wanted to show you guys. I figured y'all would like the thumbnail or whatever the hell it's called.
I'm too skinny to eat.
I know he's awfully skinny turkey, ain't
Yeah.
he? Some people already got some of that breast off of him. Uh-huh. But yes, thank you guys so much for coming in here. I really appreciate you, Brad, coming up and hanging out with me and talking about it. And I know you can only say so much, but I appreciate what you said. It still
It helped. It definitely helped.
a
Thank
lot.
you.
It
I
brings
loved it.
awareness to things, you
Yeah.
know. And if you got somebody coming up here with you, and I'm not saying that what I talk about is not useful, but if you have a secondary opinion, it always helps. It's always good to hear somebody else's perspective on what we're covering. You know what I mean? So I know it's a
yeah.
great thumbnail, and he's a skinny turkey, and he's singing and he's disco dancing. I thought it was awesome. I was like, if that don't catch people's attention, I'm throwing in the towel.
You can tell by the way I use my cloak.
Yes. Staying alive. He ain't staying alive. He's staying alive. He's trying to get away from being cooked.
Can't tell by the way my buck buck buck.
Gobble gobble.
Yeah, that was a chicken. I was doing a chicken. What was that
And
one?
look, that poor old turkey didn't even have the what is it, the things on his chin.
The wobbler, the
He's awfully
gobbler.
skinny. He's awfully skinny.
Yeah, it was his gobbler.
Well, like I typed in to find my thumbnails. I typed in like Thanksgiving karaoke, and it popped up. That, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cool. I like it."
Oh, it works. Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, that just shows a little bit of my crazy personality. But it'll be all right. A skinny turkey trying to sing.
Oh,
Angel,
who's ever
will
heard
you
of a
ask Rebel
skinny
to
turkey?
comment? I will, Jen. I'll ask him, honey. I sure will, sweetheart. And thank you guys so much for coming in here, hanging out. I know these can be kind of triggering. I don't mean them to be, or they can be kind of boring. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think they're boring, but some people are like, well, they're just reading and it's just kind of,
It's
But-
triggering, not boring. Don't say
but
it's
the
not
reason
boring.
that I
Pretty
go over it, because I want to go over it with you guys. I might not even know, because I didn't know nothing about compassion fatigue. So we went over it together. You know what I mean?
Nothing is ever boring when Mr. A is around. That's what I have to say.
Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. Listen at you.
Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. It's always something. But
I
much
may
like
have a lot
that,
of problems, but boring is not one of them.
that's true. That's so true. You got us all rolling. Even you ain't even singing karaoke tonight, and you still got full of energy. How in the
Yeah.
world you gonna go to sleep?
I'll take some melatonin.
Oh, okay.
Don't have a sticky sig.
He said that's the only way I got to go to sleep. So,
Yeah.
or
I'll
you're,
take
or
a
you're old lady,
melatonin, then I'll have a sig, and then I'll pass out. I do.
or Mrs. A can knock you out with a frying pan, then you really go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Or she can knock me out with. Never mind.
Dot, 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 dot.
You know, the other thing that makes you tired.
Yeah, have a good night, my friend. Thank you so much for coming up. And I'll
Yes, it
get
was
ready to close
awesome.
it.
I loved
Much
it.
love.
Thank you. Much love.
Much.
And I will hopefully see you tomorrow.
Hopefully, and good Lord, and the creek don't rise. But let's hope the creek
Mm.
don't rise. I'm just
Mhm.
saying.
Mwah.
Much love.
Peace.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Ah, yeah.
See
you
ya.
too. Bye.
See ya. I really appreciate I appreciate that, mentors. But you know how like some people, and I always go over when we do these type of lives. I go over it because I want to pull up different points of view. Like even though it's off the internet, it's different points of view of what we're covering. And I just and then we talk about it afterwards. So I'm just saying. I mean, anything to bring awareness to something, I think is amazing. And it is positive. I mean, it could be traumatized. I mean, not traumatizing, but it could be triggering. And I don't mean it to be that. I try to, because I suffer with my own trauma. So I try to turn it might be into like not necessarily a negative, but like an awareness. I try to turn it into a positive to a certain extent to make it less triggering, if that makes sense, to let people know, even though I go through my own hell, I'm doing the best I can, and you guys can too. And I'm trying to be as positive as I possibly can, and you guys can do it too. If I can do it, you guys can do it. And I know I'm just a little person on the YouTube totem pole, but I'm just saying that from my heart. If I've been through so much hell in my life. I mean, so much. I've went a little bit over my story, but one day soon I will actually go over my story, and it might be triggering, but like Mentors was saying earlier, he goes through a lot, and if he can say his story, or whoever the case may be, whoever, I was just using you as an example. If anybody would want to come up and say their story, or you can send it to me in an email, and I won't even say who you are. I'll just say this was an anonymous person. Somebody sent me their story. They asked me to share it with others, to bring support to it, and to see if we might be able to help others. Y'all can always do that. The sky's the limit on these type of lives. But I think just bringing awareness and support is very beneficial to anybody that needs it. Anybody like you might not suffer with mental health, and I pray those that do. I mean, it is hell, but you might just need a little pick me up, or it might be something well-being that you might need help with. There's just different ways. It's just a supportive channel. So if you guys, y'all can always reach out to me. I've got an email, I got a Facebook. I mean, there's ways to get contact with me. And like I said, if you want to share your story or anything like that, you just tell me who you are, of course, in the email, but I won't say unless you tell me to what the story, the life story is about. Or you can come up here and share your life story, and I'll give you the floor, whatever you would like to do. I just think the more life lessons we get out and people's story, if they want to share it or anything like that, I think it brings more awareness to it. And I think we're able to help more people in the long run. And that's what my ultimate goal is. I mean, karaoke, that helps people and brings positivity and good vibes to people. But, these kind of, they're very important, because this is kind of like life we're talking about. And a lot of people just don't know how to deal with certain things, and we might be able to be kind of like an advocate, and might be able to lift them up and let them know, hey, it's okay not to be okay, and you can reach for help. Don't act like it's a burden, because you're not, that type of stuff. So absolutely, just awareness someone else feels like you might is very relieving. Absolutely, honey. Absolutely. You are more than welcome, Mentors. Your channel is 18 and older, as I would like to share my story with you, peeps. Yet it's very dark. I'm all open for it. We don't judge in here, Mentors. You've been in here before, so we're here for you. And plus, anybody that's been in the military, and I'm not trying to use you as an example, Mentors, but I know Mentors has been in the military. So if anybody wants to come up, I know that could be traumatizing, but you're more than welcome to come up and say that too, because there might be military men and women that are still in the military, and they don't know what to do, or they don't, they're like, well, how do I act with what I've seen, or whatever the case may be, so you might be able to help somebody even in the military. You know what I mean? So there's just more people we're able to help, the better, I think. And it makes the world a better place if we're, it makes a better place, the world a better place. It lets people know that they're not alone. And I'm hoping and praying that it leads to less unalives, you know what I mean? To get people help that they need, and let people know that they're supported and they're not judged over here whatsoever. And they can be themselves, and they can ask for help, or they can talk about their issues or whatever, and we can be there for them. That's what it's all about. So I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. Don't forget karaoke tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Rebel has call-in show with music on White Trash Family at 1 p.m. Eastern. So y'all come on over, hang out with us. And if I do not see you guys, I hope y'all have a very blessed Thanksgiving with your friends and family. And much love to you guys. And I always say this before I go, you never know what people are going through. You never know what people have been through in their life, what they're currently going through. Be kind to one another. It doesn't cost nothing to be kind to somebody. Lift each other up. Be there for one another. Support one another. Let people know that you're there for them. You know, be a difference in somebody's life. People always remember what you said to them and what you've done for them. So just remember that, guys. And just remember that you're supported and you're loved over here. And, you know, we just bring awareness to it and support as much as we possibly can. And just know that you're loved over here. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some Thursday Eve karaoke. And I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you guys again. If you are watching a replay, please hit the like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought about the show. If there's any topics you want to cover, you can always email me or you can put them in the comment section below this live. You're more than welcome to. And I'll start writing them down. We need to cover more. So absolutely. But I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. And thank you guys so much for being in here. And I'm here for you all. Just please remember you're not alone and you're loved over here. So y'all have a wonderful night. And thank you guys again. See you later.